This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, and so do I, so don't worry about that. Anyways, today is Wednesday, or the glorious Whip 'em Out Wednesday of January the 29th of 2025. It is day 29th of the year, and only 336 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration and Radio Big is kind of the way that we do our thing around here. No doubt about that. Anyways, as we are hanging out today, a lot of stuff to cover. I hope the last 24 hours have been interesting for you, because it definitely sounds like some interesting times across the planeta. Yeah, across the planet in regards to things that are going on. It's like, look this direction, because I'm doing something over here. Yeah. Just like a magician. Misdirection. Anyway, so let's talk about what we do here. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. So if you want to take a listen to some of the stuff we have going on, this is how it goes. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what's going on. I give you some info. I give you some safety stuff. Then we give you some more info. And that's the kind of the way the world goes. The reason why so much information is because you need something to talk about besides just hanging out and talking about safety stuff, as you already know. So that's kind of how it goes right there. So if you want to, and you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. Right there. It's on the bottom of the screen right there. Callinradio.com. That will get everything moving and grooving for you. Audio, video, and text messaging, once you get there, gives you some options on what needs to be done. And that's it. That is all of everything that happens. Callinradio.com. So, with that being said, why don't we start doing this a little bit here, a little bit there? Why don't we start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, it kind of goes something like this. Notable and noteworthy. An innovation aviation company achieves a huge milestone, and bad news for the ugly. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Also, Blake Lively and Justin Baldini got a trial date for their respective lawsuits. We'll talk about that as we get into show business. Also, Jim Acosta leaves CNN, and Roseanne Barr is making another comeback. We'll talk about that as details inside of the casting calls. What else do we have right there? Meghan Markle faces delays in the Royals. Yeah, in the Royals. So we'll start talking about all that fun stuff as we go through and talk about everything that is going on. So if you're ready, I'm ready. We're bringing our friends from Feature Story News, and they're going to tell you about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So if you're ready for them, I'm ready for them, and we'll get everything moving and grooving right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Many people are feared dead and more injured after a crowd rush at the Kumbh Mela festival in India. The Hindu gathering could be the biggest in the world ever, with close to 100 million estimated to be attending the event this week. It takes place in the confluence of three holy rivers in Hinduism. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Kumbh Mela area is spread across multiple hectares. It's really a large area, but we're given to understand that the majority of the pilgrims who've been going to the Kumbh Mela area are actually going to this very narrow spot called the Sangam area. That's where the confluence of the three rivers is. And officials are now asking pilgrims to spread across the wider Kumbh Mela area to ensure that crowds can be managed. The expectation of tens of millions of people attending on this very auspicious day for Hindu pilgrims, it was taken into account quite a few days ago, and officials had held multiple rounds of conversations with security officials and local administration there as well. And the particular focus was, of course, on crowd control. So it remains to be seen how that progresses through the day as more people continue pouring in there.
A U.S. federal judge has halted a funding freeze by the Trump administration. It came after a lawsuit from several recipient organizations. A court will now look at the proposed freezing of hundreds of billions of dollars in federal grants and loans next week. Nick Harper has more from Washington.
The lawsuit claims the changes will have a devastating impact on hundreds of thousands of people who, the suit says, depend on grant money and financial assistance, impacting potentially trillions of dollars and affecting healthcare, housing and early childhood education, as well as hitting foreign aid programs funded through USAID. It may also include funding for more than 70 million people who get Medicaid health insurance. The organisations are seeking a temporary restraining order to stop the freeze from starting. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Fighting continues around the key city of Goma in eastern DRC. The Congolese government insists it still controls the city. Fighting between M23 rebels and the army has also led to violent protests and attacks on embassies in the capital Kinshasa. A test flight has broken the sound barrier, becoming the first passenger plane to do so since Concorde. The Boom supersonic jet reached speeds of 770 miles an hour. Experts hope it could be used commercially within the next decade. But Jock Lowe, the longest-serving Concorde pilot, says there are a lot of hurdles.
There are all sorts of technical problems to overcome, such as the noise on takeoff and landing and the sonic boom over land. There are few markets for a supersonic airplane, and the cost of developing a supersonic business jet would just be prohibitive.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, DeepSeek. You almost certainly had not heard of it just a few days ago, but now, suddenly, the Chinese-built AI assistant is the biggest phenomenon to hit the world of technology for years. Faster to operate and much cheaper to build than Sam Altman's OpenAI, in a matter of hours, it called into question the view of successive US governments that America can dominate the world of the future by dominating the future of AI. Andrew Grill is an AI expert and author of the best-selling book Digitally Curious.
The US basically said we're going to cut access to GPU chips and know-how to prevent other countries from getting a leg up. So what the smart engineers in China did, as all engineers want to do that don't have all the stuff they need, they innovated. They said, we can't do it with the best chips, we'll do it with the chips we have. So what we're seeing is it's comparable, it's a lot cheaper to run, but importantly, it's open source. So someone out there is listening and saying, you know, I want to take advantage of this AI, I want to use someone else's model. What we're going to see is the prices are going to come down and more companies are going to actually investigate whether AI is useful for their business.
The chip maker Nvidia shared nearly $600 billion in value on Monday, the biggest market loss in history, as news of DeepSeek's launch spread. And DeepSeek is causing deep angst among tech giants and the Trump administration as they assess what it means for the future of the US economy. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, many are feared dead and more injured after a crowd rush at the Kumbh Mela festival in northern India. A US federal judge has halted a funding freeze by the Trump administration. Fighting continues around the key city of Goma in eastern DRC between the army and M23 rebels. And a test flight has broken the sound barrier, becoming the first passenger plane to do so since Concorde. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Duh. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Radio Big.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time.
Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time.
All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Wednesday. And yeah, and thanks for all the info that has been being sent over this general direction. Yeah, makes it an interesting Wednesday like always. Okay, so let's start talking right away about the things that are going on. And should we do it this way? Let's see. Supersonic, an aviation manufacturing company, successfully tested the first civil supersonic jet made in America on Tuesday morning. The plane, dubbed XB-1 and piloted by Tristan Capetto Brandsburg, topped out on Mach 1.122, or about 12% faster than the speed of sound over California. Boom Supersonic mission is on it once again to bring the supersonic jet travel to the masses with the jet model called Overture. The company's website boasts 130 pre-order for Overture, and the prominent carrier like American Airlines and Delta. Currently, the company is ensuring that the safety and sustainability of its jet. But if all goes as planned, it will be in service as soon as 2029. So we are legitimately talking like 4 years. Give or take, we'll just use the give or take math here. And the reason that I say that is because of the following reason, because we don't know if it's going to be later in the year or earlier in the year or somewhere in the middle. I'll put it to you this way. I hope they don't use Tesla math on release date.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, speaking of cool stuff in the sky, Elon Musk said that in a post on X that President Donald Trump has asked SpaceX to bring home the Boeing astronauts stranded on the International Space Station home as soon as possible. Musk added, "Terrible that the Biden administration left them there so long." This is according to Elon Musk. I'm just telling you what it says. That was a post on X. What do you think about that? Like, seriously, I thought there was already like some convo about getting this done, and I thought there was like the month of February. So I'm just asking to ask. Is as soon as possible going to be February? Because wasn't there like a whole weird thing about an adapter for the suit, and without that adapter, the suit wouldn't work, so they would probably need to send new suits? Or am I making all this stuff up? Because it sounds like really familiar in regards of having that conversation previously, but it's been a few months and these people have been stranded up there, so it's going to be really hard to say about that. Anyways, an amateur fossil hunter recently made a particular discovery while hiking in the cliffs of Stevens, south of Copenhagen. Some of curious pieces embedded inside of the chunk of chalk. When he took to the museum to have a closer look, the fragments turned out to be some kind of fish vomit. The analyst suggested the fragments of the sea lilies and had been regulated by the fish for some 66 million years. By the way, sea lilies are animals, not plants, but the typical affix themselves to the ocean floor and extend tentacle-like arms, making them look like underwater weeds. While the discovery is rare and odd, it's not the first. Back in 2022, researchers in Utah discovered a prehistoric barfs with salamanders and frog components. This is according to CBS News. How does this become a news story that's like worth talking about? I mean, I'm just asking because, that's what we do here. We talk about this stuff that occurs in reality time. So that's why I'm asking the question. Don't get all mad at me because I'm asking. Because we're just trying to figure it out. All together here. Everyone sing along. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, don't sing along because we don't want to do that torture to anyone. Okay, so take a listen to this because if you have been under a rock, you probably haven't heard this. But Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are suing each other. The day in court has been set finally, but this is not going to be the greatest news for anyone. It's March the 9th. Oh, no. Not like March the 9th is about to occur. March the 9th of 2026. That's the date. Lively initiated things with a lawsuit against Baldoni and his publicists in Wayfarer Studios, and more in December, alleging that sexual harassment and smear campaign. Baldoni countersued Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds and their publicists, accusing them of defamation and extortion. So that's some stuff there. Also, as a pretrial hearing is set for February the 3rd for Lively gag order request against Baldoni's lawyer. His team argues that she brought the legal battle to the public forum and cannot ask for, to rescind the information. This is according to AP. So something tells me that we're going to get a lot of data of some things that are going on, is what it sounds like. And then after that, we're going to get a lot more information. The question that I ask is, will there be the day in court? Now, there's a day in court scheduled, but will it really be a day in court, or will they end up settling outside? I have a funny feeling, and just one of those suspicion things, that they're going to settle outside of court, because this doesn't make any sense. Anyways, in a since deleted post, Selena Gomez tearfully apologizes to her followers for being unable to stop President Trump's deportation of illegal immigrants. She goes, "I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise," she says. Gomez added on a second post after deleting the initial one over some backlash, writing, "Apparently it's not okay to show empathy to people." This is according to Page 6. Wasn't there a presidential response to that? Like, didn't he? I could have swore that he posted something, but it's hard to keep up because there's so much shit going on right now in regards of it. Like, I think it's amazing. It's amazing if you kind of take a look around on, this is the second Trump term, and how he's in the news daily. Like, daily. And I just don't understand it. I mean, I guess because I'm not used to seeing that with other presidents, but hey, whatever. I mean, it is what it is, right? Isn't that what people say?
It is what it is.
So, I don't know. I just look at it from the standpoint of going, every day we kind of get things that are happening. And I think it's interesting that, there was a response. I need to find it, opposed to just talking about it. Anyways, take a listen to this one. Roseanne Barr wants to make a comeback to show business. Speaking with Variety, the actress says that she wrote a new comedy series and is about to pitch it to networks. A series which will star Barr is described as a cross between The Roseanne Show and The Sopranos, centering around a small-town farmer in Alabama who is saving the United States from drug gangs in China. It will contain a very offensive ideas and a lot of swearing, Barr added. This is according to the reports. I don't know. I mean, was her show that she came back on, was it good? I mean, a lot of people seem to like it. I just look at it from the standpoint of just keep her away from Twitter. That might be the easier thing to do.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, just some things. I mean, I'm just talking here. Nothing else going on, of course. Anyways, Brad Pitt once wanted to play the late musician Jeff Buckley in a biopic, but Buckley's mom said no. Despite initially giving her blessing after attending Pitt's 2000 wedding to Jennifer Aniston, Mary Gubert later decided no one was good enough to portray her only son. What? Now a documentary about Buckley has made it to the big screen, and thanks to archives released by Mary, Pitt served as an executive producer to the project. It's Never Over Yet. Jeff Buckley premiered at Sundance on January the 24th, according to The Mirror. So I don't know. some stuff to think about. So there you go. Some things coming up always. Anyways, we're going to talk real quick about Eminem's publishing company sues a car dealership. Snoop Dogg addresses the haters, and the Kansas City joins the union on this date back in history. We'll talk about all that stuff in just one titty bitty real quick.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Want a quick way to boost your salary? Well, quit being ugly. What? Yeah, you heard me. A study of people who completed an MBA program showed that attractive respondents earning 11% more than their hideous colleagues and scored prestigious jobs and titles. Artificial intelligence technology quantified the attractiveness of study of participants, so it wasn't necessarily subjective either. Overall, the more attractive the cohort earned about 2.4% more than the rest, but on the top 10%, the good-looking folks earned a beauty premium. The effect of being a better-looking carried the most weight in consulting and management fields, which include significant social interactions. In the fields like IT and engineering, the effect was less significant. This is according to the Daily Mail. So hold on. Let me make sure that I understand this. If I have a good-looking cohort, I can go ahead and get better in regards of what's going on? I mean, I'm just saying I can get a better cut in pay. Is that what you're telling me? So the more attractive you are. And that's going to be an interesting one because being attractive has always been subjective, depending on, what the person thinks. Because who makes that determination? Like, did you dump something in the GPTs of the world to figure that out? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so you might be missing a new feature coming to Starbucks stores the next time that you are wandering inside. A panic button hidden under the counter for employees. As the company revamps the operation to expel freeloaders, they're anticipating not every confrontation with non-paying visitor going smoothly. The button would lock the cafe front door to the guests while allowing those inside the ability to leave and the internal security team to be noticed about the conflict. So far, the button have only been installed in a few select stores. This is according to Fortune. So there you go. So hold on. Does that mean that it's according to Starbucks because they have a Fortune? I'm just asking, because there's some weird stuff going on real quick. Anyways, check your broccoli. Yeah, you heard me there. The FDA issued a Class 1 recall on the market-side broccoli florets sold at Walmart, meaning there is reasonable probability of that the use of the exposure to the specific brand of vegetables will cause serious adverse consequences or even death. While no illness or death has been reported, batches of the broccoli have tested positive for listeria, prompting a high or highest level of recall. The recall affects 12-ounce bags of the product sold in Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. The bags have a sell date of December the 10th and a lot code of BFFG327A6. Just in case, BFFG327A6. So there you go. Okay, so let's get swampy because you know that people are going to love this part because why wouldn't they?
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, effective 5 p.m. yesterday, the federal government has paused all spending by executive branch departments and agencies that are not explicitly required by law. According to a memo, this includes financial assistance for foreign aid, non-governmental organizations, DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. Worth remembering, the Green New Deal was called the Inflation Reduction Act, even though it spent trillions of borrowed money. The literal definition of inflation is spending borrowed money. Agencies have until February 10th to report of the Office of Management and Budget a comprehensive list of all programs that they have been paused. Exceptions have already been granted on a case-by-case basis in the meantime. Worth noting, despite the mainstream media expected hair-on-fire outrage, the point of this exercise is to prioritize money that actually helps people and actually goes to a good use. Hundreds of billions of dollars get wasted on programs and initiatives that the government has no business spending money on in the first place. Of that, they spend it is a disastrous inefficiency. Such a swift, drastic action would not be necessary. That if in the first place, if the entrenched bureaucrats were not hiding their DEI and Green New Deal initiatives among actual useful and helpful programs. Keep in mind that this is an editor writing this information that I'm sharing here. So I just want to make sure that we cover our bases there. The Trump administration is moving and acting quickly on the bureaucrats that aren't used with this to have speed. They are not familiar with the action of expedited decision making, and they may take a few days or hiccups of uncertainty, but the nation will come out of it stronger. Also worth noting, the White House explicitly said that multiple times the programs like Social Security, Medicare, SNAP, Medicaid, small business funds, agriculture subsidiaries, Pell Grants, Head Start, and rental assistance, among other programs, will not be paused. Anyone saying otherwise should not be trusted. Anyways, a leftist judge was confirmed during the Biden administration by 51-50 vote. The former Vice President Kamala Harris casting the tiebreaker. Pause the spending pause late Tuesday in effect until Monday. So I guess we'll see what happens going forward. Anyways, with that being said, the Dow increased by 136 points to close at 44,850 on Tuesday. The S&P increased by 55 points to close at 6,067. The Nasdaq increased by 391 points to close at 19,733. And West Texas Intermediate closed at $73 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at $76 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.12 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin ticked up, trading just around $101,000 on Tuesday. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for, let's say, $69 million jackpot or a $30.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. Anyways, currently, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get into that thing we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some main story stuff, because that is what we get to do around here. If we weren't doing that, I'm not sure what we would be doing, but it would definitely sound like something different, because that's kind of how this whole thing goes. So let's talk. We're not going to talk about things that are being laid out by the federal government, and we're not going to be talking about things that are being laid out as when it comes to talking about what is going on from a state level either. But we are going to get safety and swampy all at the same time. So if you hung out with me on Safety FM with Jay Allen, the last two episodes, I've had the privilege and the honor of interacting with Sheldon Primus as we were talking about things that were going on with OSHA and things that are potential the AI future and all that kind of fun stuff. But during the conversation, we were talking about the changes that were going into OSHA and that would probably be very similar to the first term that Trump had in regards of what they would be looking at. Now, keep in mind that as this goes forward, things do change within your organization because, hey, if your OSHA standards change in regards of what the requirements are, of course, they're going to change things inside of the organization, just kind of the way that it goes. So how do you start sharing that information with people about what is going on and why we might be changing this standard or that standard or something that we were looking at before? Because of the new administration, without it sounding political. See where the issue is? Because how do you bring this up? Going, okay, the requirement has changed, but with the requirement changing, this means that we are going to have to adhere to or adjust by lowering or raising X. So as you hear that, how does that go for you? What comes to mind immediately? Because there's a lot of stuff that people start thinking about, like, oh, crap, man. Does this make any sense? And that's the question I would have to ask to you. Does it make sense? Because when you bring this up, how do you make it sound non-political? So are you of the standpoint that where you sit around and go, okay, our standards are normally a slightly higher than the expectation of what OSHA has? Or do you go, my expectations inside of the organization are normally exact OSHA standards, so what do? So let's say, for instance, that over the last 4 years, it was this standard, and let's use hypothetical, that the standard now has been lowered in comparison. Do you remain where you were, or do you lower it? Now, you know automatically that if it is higher, the standard in the requirement, guess what you're going to do? You're going to raise it because you don't have a choice. But if the option is to lower the standard, are you willing to do that within the organization? Now, let me ask the other thing. If you are willing to, quote unquote, lower it, how do you have that conversation? Because remember, you worked inside of the organization for a period of time to get to that standard. So all of a sudden, for you to go to the quote unquote higher ups and saying, by the way, things have changed, OSHA requirements are different, we're lowering our standards. Using the hypothetical of the lowering of the standards. How does that conversation go? Because I'm sure a lot of work got put into place to get you to where you are now. So saying, let's lower them. Now, if you're raising quote unquote standards, then that conversation has to happen. By the way, we haven't been doing enough. We need to do X now because it's a requirement. So then how does that go? Do you see the weird world that we're in? Because there's a lot of questions there on what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So how do you handle that conversation? And what exactly would be your expectation going forward once you do have the combo?
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
As
training old, stale, and hacked. Mr. Safety Trainer is still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns.
This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game.
With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. It's all about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
Okay, here we are hanging out on the Rated R Safety Show. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This song right here is by Saints of Valory. The song's titled Rattle My Cage. Oh yeah, it's all about that rattling, baby. Yeah, rattle, rattle, rattle my cage. Some things to talk about for sure. Okay, so this song's readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. So there you go. Some places that you can get it if you're so intrigued by doing so. A lot of love on those services, that's for sure. Okay. So let's get back into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on. And let's thank Saint of Valory for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, no doubt there. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into some things, if anything. This will be the most important thing that I tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. And listen, when you get to Write Love on Her Arms, they're going to tell you some information about self-care. Because it's important. When you're having those tough moments or days, it's okay to pause and take care of yourself. Below are some suggestions on how you can do this right now. And you can make plans to keep the self-care efforts going forward. So if you go to this webpage, you can see things that are like connecting with your breath, making sure you have your basic needs met, body scan meditation. You can use your senses to create space between yourself and your feelings. Call or text a friend. I don't know, recently I've been thinking about, I was talking to some people and probably that's not the best idea, but that's a whole other story. Know that you're worthy, you are enough, and you belong here. Create a mantra if you need to do so. Visualize a place of comfort. And find ways to move. There is just some number of things that you can do that will help you. So twloha.com and click on the section that says self-care. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world. These days, who doesn't use their smartphone as their alarm clock? Well, here's the thing, though. Experts are warning you that you might be better off using the old-fashioned alarm clock instead. Dr. Shalini Parucci, sleep medicine attending physician at John J. Concord Veterans Hospital in St. Louis, adjunct professor at St. Louis University School of Medicine, who, by the way, are just incredible large business cards, say that if you keep your phone in another room, you'll decrease the opportunity of distractions from sleep. And those decrease opportunities for sleep procrastinations. What he means is that having a phone on your bedside, it means that it's always sitting there, giving you easy access to scroll at night. And an easy snooze button in the morning. And remember, those late nights doom scrolling sessions aren't just bad for your mental health. The exposure of the bright light is not good. A good way to help your brain transition to fall asleep. And I can't even remember how to set an alarm clock. Do they come with an app for that? I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out. And let's see. Okay, when you're coming to using your phone as an alarm clock, and I can't see not staying up all night doom scrolling, but sleep is in another room. And what about the 1 a.m. craving to check the internet if it still exists? I'm just asking. And then really the solution is better sleep is just moving my phone to another room. And then I'm an expert to just lie there in bed wondering if anyone liked my post from 4 hours ago. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. In doom scrolling, I mean, what a world. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting when you start thinking about all this stuff. So I don't know. It's just an oddball type of thing as we are talking. Let's talk about some whack facts on this Wednesday. Astronauts is a compound word derived from ancient Greek word astro, meaning star, and not meaning sailor. The Buddha commonly depicted in the statues and pictures are different persons entirely. The real Buddha was increasingly skinny due to deprivation. Also, at birth, a baby panda is smaller than a mouse. Bubbles from a bubble bath thermally insulate the surface of water, keeping the bath warm for a longer period of time. And there are more Lego minifigures than there are people on Earth. And last but not least, a Cinnabon study found that the scent of cinnamon causes mall shoppers to be more polite. Well, shit, then pump that stuff all over the place, because it sounds like it might be something that's needed. Something to think about for sure as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, let's do one of the most positive things that we can do today and have John Smalls come in and tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute, because, man, can that guy keep someone motivated? No doubt about that.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Craig. Carl Sandburg said, "Time is the coin of your life. It's the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful lest you let other people spend it for you." What a great quote. Time is really all we have. I know people who've traded their time for money at a job they hate. I've never understood that. You have the same 24 hours every day, whether you're happy or miserable. Why would anyone choose to be miserable? It happens all the time. If you spend your days or nights doing something that you don't love, or even worse, something you don't even like, stop doing that.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. The convicting work of the Holy Spirit is always specific. When He convicts us of sin, He puts His finger on it and identifies it so we can confess it and be forgiven. Condemnation leaves us feeling guilty, but unable to identify a specific reason for our guilt. It does not identify a particular sin, lest we confess it and be delivered. The only time condemnation is specific is when the accuser condemns us of sins we've already confessed. That's not the conviction of the Holy Spirit, so reject it. When God forgives our sins, He is done with them. He never brings them up again. Psalm 103 says, "As far as the east is from the west, so far has He removed our transgressions from us." If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Roseanne Barr Safety Show.
The Chinese government has dismissed claims by the CIA that COVID-19 likely originated from a lab leak, calling the assertion extremely unlikely. Benjamin Wright has the latest.
Officials pointed to findings from a joint China-WHO expert team, which concluded that a lab leak was highly improbable. The statement comes amid renewed global scrutiny over the origins of the pandemic, with Beijing urging a focus on scientific research rather than political speculation.
The launch of DeepSeek R1, a new AI model by Chinese startup DeepSeek, has sparked a social media frenzy.
The AI's rapid rise has disrupted the tech industry, with users sharing memes and commentary about its potential impact. The company has also temporarily limited registrations due to a surge in malicious cyber attacks targeting its services. Meanwhile, the U.S. stock market experienced significant losses following the rise of DeepSeek, a low-cost Chinese AI bot. Liam White reporting.
In the Middle East, Israel has announced that 8 hostages due to be released in the first phase of a ceasefire agreement with Hamas are confirmed dead. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The announcement follows intelligence reports that matched information provided by Hamas. The ceasefire, which allowed displaced Palestinians to return to northern Gaza, remains fragile as both sides navigate the complexities of the agreement. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has rejected any extension of the timeline for Israeli troop withdrawals from southern Lebanon.
This is the latest news headlines.
The Democratic Republic of Congo is facing escalating violence as clashes between M23 rebels and government forces intensify. Lawrence Keller reports.
Videos shared online show rebels patrolling the streets of Goma, a major city in the region. The UN has temporarily relocated non-essential staff from the area, and the Security Council has held an emergency meeting to address the crisis. In Kenya, protests against economic hardship and government corruption have turned deadly, with over 60 people killed and 1,200 arrested.
Newly appointed U.S. Defense Secretary Secretary Pete Hegseth has pledged to overhaul operations at the Pentagon, emphasizing a shift from traditional practices.
Hegseth outlined plans to bolster border security, including deploying military personnel and aircraft for immigration enforcement. His remarks come as the Trump administration prepares to issue new orders on transgender military service and COVID-19 policies. Vivek Ramaswamy described the event as a Sputnik moment for the U.S. tech industry. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The Sundance Film Festival is underway in Utah, showcasing independent films and documentaries from around the world. Jessica Oakley reports.
Actor Robert Redford, founder of the Sundance Institute, discussed the festival's history and its role in supporting emerging filmmakers. The event has also featured appearances by notable actors, including Glenn Close and Ed Harris, highlighting the festival's continued influence on the film industry.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, that sounds pretty intense right there. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Let's see. Back in 2009, Illinois' governor Rod Blobridge, is unanimously ousted from the office by the state Senate. The latest major scandal for a public officer in Illinois came as Rod was caught trying to sell the Senate seat vacated by President Obama. Phone taps caught Blago shopping the seat around, in return for cash and other perks. He at one point tried to offer it to Oprah. Following the federal trial, he was found guilty on 17 of 20 counts of extortion and bribery. He was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison, where he's presently serving in Colorado. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, here you go. Madison Bailey turns 26, Louis Pullman 32, Adam Lambert 43, Riff Raff also turns 43, Justin Hartley turns 48, Sarah Gilbert 50, Paul Ryan turns 55, Heather Graham also turns 55 today, Greg Louganis 65, Oprah Winfrey 71, Charlie Wilson 72, Tom Selleck 80, and Donna Capone turns 80 as well. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Puzzle Day and Kansas Day. So there you go, some stuff to give a whirly to, if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, if you need a rando for today, I got one of those for you. I just found out there is no popcorn in popcorn shrimp. I guess there's no reason to try pot roast. You got it? Okay, I hope you got it. Okay, cool. Okay, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the most awkward thing that happens to you on a regular basis? Okay, waiting. Yeah, waiting for the sign. Okay, so there you go. What else? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. In a sign of changing times, 10% of us have never used one of these. What is it? A wall calendar. Yes, a wall calendar is not as common as you think. So there you go. That's it. That's going to sum up our time together. Listen, at the top of the hour, Sheldon Primus is going to take over on Safety FM, and he's going to talk about the world of safety consulting. Now, listen, if you want to become a safety consultant, he's the guy to take a listen to. He will go through the whole thing, laying out the whole process on how to do it. If you don't want to listen to that, that's okay. You can come over to radiobig.fm, where I will be talking about the world of music and entertainment for the next couple hours doing that. So there you go. That's hour 2 and 3 that we do. We just don't do it with video. It's just straight audio for you off of radiobig.fm. So that's it. That's going to sum up our time. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. I know, it becomes a little bit difficult talking about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Is that just what you want?